Lately, I've been talking to a lot of new and prospective EV buyers, and one of the main questions I'm asked is always about home charging. Is it expensive to set up? What does it really get you when you charge at home? Do I have to replace my whole panel? Well, today, I'm gonna walk you through my home charging setup. I have a 1970s house, I have 100 amp electrical service, and I'm able to get 40 amp, nearly 10 kilowatt charging at home. And I'm gonna show you exactly how I set up my equipment, what it all looks like. Let's take a look. Welcome back to another EV John Adventures YouTube video. And let's start with a bit of a history lesson. When I bought my Model Y brand new in February of 2024, I wasn't ready to invest a ton of money into upgrading my house. I wanted to just get into charging. Wasn't sure if I was gonna be into an EV long-term, if I was gonna like it or what. So I started really simple at basically zero cost. And I started right here. This is my Tesla mobile connector, and I have it plugged into a dedicated 20 amp, 120 volt outlet on the side of my house. This is level 1 charging. It cost me practically nothing. With the right dongle, this can get you 16 amps of charging, which is good for 1.9 kilowatts. And 1.9 kilowatts means 2% per hour back in the Model Y. And while 2% per hour sounds really slow, let's dig into it. My commute is about 30 minutes to almost an hour, depending on traffic, 18 miles each way. On a good day, that'll only consume 5% each way of my battery. And on the worst day, 10% in the wintertime. That means on my worst day, I'm gonna use 20% of my range to go from here to work and back. At 2% per hour, 10 hours overnight easily recoups that. Plug in at home in the evening when you get home is at 6 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 8 o'clock, whatever. 10 hours later, you're back up to where you left and you've recouped all your energy. So for most of your daily driving, even if you do a little more on the weekends, this 1.9 kilowatt level 1 charging worked great for me at just 2% per hour for the entire first year I had an EV. Where things fell apart and had me questioning my decisions was in the wintertime. These EVs in the wintertime need to warm up the battery and of course the cabin too before you start your drive. Well, the active preconditioning can easily take 6 or 7 kilowatts of power. And if your home charger can only put out 1.9, the rest of that comes from the battery. In practical terms, what that meant was if I charged to 80, I would use 5% of my battery just preconditioning in the driveway. That meant that my range was down to 75% before I even left the driveway. And then you're consuming more in the wintertime because it's cold. So my commute was okay, but bigger trips started to become a problem and require more planning. There is a supercharger about 1.7 miles from my house, so I could always go there and top off if I needed to, but I just wanted more security and consistency here at home. But I was concerned that that would break the bank. I didn't know what to do. Would I ever be able to install a beefier, real home charger, or would I be stuck with level 1 forever? So on a whim, I contacted Commute. Now, they're a longtime sponsor of Tom Malogny's State of Charge YouTube channel, which I watched extensively before making any decisions. And with Commute, I just submitted some photos of my meter and my panel, which you can see behind me, online, and they connected me with a really good local EV specialist electrician who got me a quote. Now, because I live in Pennsylvania and we love our natural gas in Pennsylvania, I had a little bit of headroom to start because I have natural gas here at my house. Natural gas serves my home heating, water heating, cooking, clothes drying, all of those needs. So that on the surface takes a huge load off of my electrical needs. But even with that, you can't just plug in a 40 amp charger into my 100 amp service and call it a day. We needed to be smart about it. And what the Commute installer recommended is that we add a component to my overall system to be able to enable 40 amp charging safely. And what we added was this down here. This is the DCC-12. It is a electrical vehicle management system. And this is really a brilliant, but also dumb system. And I mean that in the best sense of the word. What the DCC-12 does is it uses current sensors behind the scenes in my panel, and it monitors the total load on my electrical panel. Because this is a 100 amp panel, it's set to watch out for as soon as total system load hits 80 amps. And as soon as it hits 80 amps, this box steps in and physically cuts power to the car charger. And once power is cut, the DCC-12 listens. And as soon as it sees that total draw on the panel is below 80 amps for 15 minutes or more, it'll then re-energize the system. That prevents spikes on and off and on and off. What I love about this system is that I feel like it is essentially future-proof. A lot of these modern energy management systems can really nicely feather power up and down to your system, keep you charging even when system demand is higher. But what I worry about as a homeowner is longevity. What if that company goes out of business? What if the app isn't supported? What if the hardware doesn't get any more firmware updates? You could be stuck with basically spent technology that is just a brick in your system, forcing you to make an upgrade in the future. With this dumb system, I really feel like I'm future-proofed, and I'm not depending on any internet connectivity or app economy to keep it running. So it is basic, and then it's either on or off, but the reality is it gives me future-proof protection. That being said, I did have to make 2 optimizations to the system. One was for convenience, and the other was because my air conditioning kept tripping the system. Let me walk you through both of those. First is convenience. I had my EVSE, my Gen 3 Tesla wall connector, mounted here to the side of the house. And I did that for simplicity. It keeps everything tucked up nicely against the wall, and it doesn't get in the way of anything. And I didn't have the expense of trenching and having a pedestal mount here. But I did have to step across the stones and the landscaping to grab the charger, and I was left with a coil wrap, a cord wrap around the side of my house, which I didn't like. So I went to Home Depot, and with about $100 of supplies for the post, a solar topper, and a handle from Amazon, linked in the description, I was able to get a nice looking post here on the side of my landscaping that I can just easily grab and go and charge the car without having to stretch across the dirt, the stones, the snow in the wintertime, and all of that. Great solution, and it took maybe 2 hours for me to install this. The other optimization I made was a bit more serious and took some more research. I was having an issue in the summertime where my DCC-12 and home charger were turning off when my air conditioner would turn on, especially on the hottest days. Now, my air conditioner here, it's not because it pulls too much amperage. When this thing runs, it cruises at about 7.5 amps. But when it starts, you have that inrush amperage, and you have extra power needed to get it started up. So outdoor AC units like this, even though they run at maybe 7 amps, 8 amps, can pull 80, 90, or even more amps than that when it starts up for a split second. And that little split second surge of amp draw would trip my DCC-12, and it would do it pretty often, maybe half the time the AC started. This thing cycles on and off all day long, and I didn't like the fact that the DCC-12, the wall connector, and the car were constantly being cycled on and off. So I did a lot of research into this, and I found a system called a soft start, and I added this. This is the Micro Air EasyStart Flex. It's a soft start system, and what it does is it learns your outside unit, it learns your electrical system, and it eases the start of your system, and it can lower your inrush amps from 80, 90, over 100, all the way down, in my case, to the low 20s. And you can have your HVAC professional or even yourself, you can wire it right back into here where your system is connected to the electrical outlet. Of course, always follow code, always consult with an electrician or hire an electrician, and be very careful when working in any system like this. But it's definitely possible. It's set up to be a DIY tool, and they have good videos and support about it. And another cool thing about the Micro Air EasyStart Flex is that while it works completely offline with no internet connectivity or management needed, it still does have a Bluetooth connection to your phone and an app. So you can monitor its usage, you can see your startup amps and your running amps, and any faults it detects through from your AC system, which is really convenient, and I like to be able to look and see that my system is running well. So the Micro Air EasyStart Flex paired with the DCC-12 enables my old school 100 amp service to give me nearly 10 kilowatt charging, 40 amp 240 volt charging on my Gen 3 wall connector. Let's take a look at what that really means in practical terms for the Model Y. Inside the Model Y, charging up here, you can see that I'm pulling 40 amps, nearly 10 kilowatts of power, and that's getting me over 30 miles of range per hour. That's over 10% added per hour plugged in. So my 20-mile commute can be recouped in under 2 hours. That's really powerful. Also, at 10 kilowatts, this can keep up providing shore power to the car when it's preconditioning, even on the coldest days of the winter, so I'm not losing any range before I leave the driveway. And that's just been so convenient for me. I've had this system for about a year and a half, and being able to charge at 40 amps at home whenever I want is great. With the load manager and the EasyStart Flex, I don't have to worry about what else am I running in the house? Is it going to be an issue? To be honest, this thing never trips under regular use. Since I added the EasyStart, I don't think it's deactivated once. It is so rare for me to pull 80 amps or more in my house. Again, I have a lot of natural gas appliances, but my AC runs at 7 amps. Even if I run a couple of space heaters in the wintertime to support my main heating system, they'll pull 12.5 amps each. I can always turn the car down a little bit as well. I don't have to charge at 40 amps. And the reality is, 40 amp charging really is faster than I need, and I often do turn this thing down to 25 amps for regular charging. Let me know if you'd like to see in a future video why I choose to do that. Even though I can charge at full 40 amps whenever I want, I choose to charge a bit slower, and I'll be happy to tell you why. Now, total cost for this system, including the Gen 3 wall connector, the DCC12, the EasyStart Flex, all of the professional installation, the inspections, everything, all in, is in the $2,000 range, mid-2000s. Now, I might get roasted in the comments for spending so much when level 1 charging pretty much got the job done at essentially no cost, but this was peace of mind and convenience that I wanted. And I felt like this was a good upgrade. It would be durable, reliable, and last me quite a while, and didn't involve me ripping my whole panel out and spending $9,000, $10,000, $11,000 for that. So I'm pretty pleased with it in the year and a half I've had it so far. So there you have it, my complete home charging setup. If you found this video helpful, please go ahead and click that like and subscribe button. It doesn't cost you anything to subscribe, and it does help my small and growing channel. I've also included affiliate links to some of the products I've used in this video down below if you're interested in doing research or perhaps buying some of them yourself. Thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it, and I will catch you on another one again soon.